Hello everyone. Today we are going to start with the unit Optical Fiber Communication. This is your second unit in module 5 in your syllabus, which comes after laser. So in this unit you will be required to study about optical fibers, their structure, basic structure, and the principle of light propagation through an optical fiber cable, which includes total internal reflection and the concepts of critical angle. Then different kinds of optical fiber cables like graded index and step index fibers, their features, their comparisons, and then numerical aperture, acceptance angle relation, and some applications of optical fiber cables, and that's it. This is your whole topics in this unit of yours. So in this video I will be discussing about the principle of light propagation through an optical fiber cable and the different kinds of it, different types of cables available, their features and comparisons. That's it. So let's get into the introduction. So conventional methods of data transmission employed radio waves and microwaves because they are very high frequency and high energy waves that are able to act like a carrier wave to our low energy information signal. Our information signal, like for example a telephonic signal, is generally a very low frequency and low energy signal, that so that you cannot just simply transmit a low energy signal into the transmission medium. It will get attenuated very fast. So if you superimpose or if you modulate the low frequency information signal with a high frequency carrier wave, this modulated signal can be effectively sent across or transmitted. So in the earlier times, radio waves and microwaves were employed as the carrier signal, but later discoveries showed that light waves have a more information carrying capacity compared to radio waves, so it can act like a more effective carrier signal. In 1880, the inventor of telephone, Alexander Graham Bell, he was able to successfully transmit a telephonic signal over a distance greater than 200 meters using light as the carrier signal. But in the 1800s, they didn't have a very reliable source of light which is highly monochromatic and coherent in nature, just like laser. Laser only developed in 1960s. So due to the lack of a reliable source of light and a very suitable transmission medium, the research in this regard using light as the carrier signal did not gain much momentum. So when laser got developed in 1960s, experiments on using laser as a carrier wave was carried out, but the field trials showed that unguided open space communication is limited to only a very few kilometers, and after that the signal got attenuated. That is, the laser signal which is modulated with the information signal got attenuated after a very short distance, and then you need a more guided form of transmission. That is, you need a guided transmission of light, and this resulted in the development of optical fiber communication system. So optical fiber communication is a method of transmitting data in the form of light signal using special cables or fibers that is made of dielectric substances like silica glass or even plastic. So due to the tremendous information carrying capacity of optical fiber cables, the conventional cable networks are being replaced by them. So you might have heard about FTTH technology, fiber to the home technology, that provides us with high speed internet broadband connectivity. So basically fiber optic cables are very reliable source of data transmission, high speed data transmission, that are really lightweight and inexpensive and also immune to electromagnetic interferences like damages caused due to lightning, etc. So let's see what is the basic structure of an optical fiber cable looks like. In the figure you can see there is an inner glass core there, and then there is a glass cladding protecting it, and then there is a plastic buffer and an outer jacket. So the inner core will be made out of any dielectric material, which is a physical medium through which the optical signal will be admitted through one end and then propagate along its core axis by repeated total internal reflection at the core and cladding boundary. So the larger the core, the more light it can carry throughout, and that correlates to the higher data transfer rate. And now the cladding, which is also made out of some other dielectric material, will have a different refractive index N2, and this will be a thin layer that is protecting the core and will serve like a boundary or confinement to the light waves to confine in within the core axis, so that the data will travel throughout the length of the fiber without much losses. And then in the plastic fiber and the outer jacket, that will provide like a reinforcement to the core and cladding surfaces, and that will protect the core against crushing forces and excessive tension during the installation. Also, it will prevent the core getting damaged due to external shocks. The most important specification to note here is that always for an optical fiber cable, the refractive index of the core region will be greater than that of the cladding region. Both will be made out of dielectric materials, but the refractive index of the core, let it be N1, the N1 will always be greater than N2, which is the refractive index of the cladding. So given are some of the advantages of optical fiber cables compared to copper cables. So we know, unlike traditional copper wires that transmit electrical current, fiber optic transmit only pulses of light that is generated by either laser sources or LED sources. So that's one major reason for the high speed data transmission, because light is more faster, so it will have a large distance covered in very short time. And second one is that high bandwidth data over long distances, because light, we know light is having more information carrying capacity compared to other form of carrier wave, so it can contain more information, and hence it has broader bandwidth than other form of carrier waves. And the third one is that less transmission power loss due to heat, because we know copper is a metal, so when electrical energy passes through a metallic wire, heat loss will be present. There will be a loss of power at the receiving end of the communication system. But using OFC cables or optical fiber cables, we are using light impulses, so there is no power loss in between, so it is a very efficient form of transmission system. So now let's see what is the principle of light propagation through an optical fiber cable. In the figure you can see three instances of a light ray traveling from a medium glass to another medium air. Here glass is a denser medium compared to air. So in the first figure you can see the angle of incidence of the ray that it makes with the normal is less than the critical angle. So the light ray is getting refracted into the next medium away from the normal by making an angle of refraction r. In the second instance you can see that the light ray is getting incident in angle I equal to the critical angle. Then the light ray is getting refracted at 90 degree to the normal. So for light propagating from a denser medium to a rarer medium, if the angle of refraction is 90 degree, then the corresponding angle of incidence is called critical angle, theta c. In the third instance, here the angle made by the incident light ray with the normal is greater than the critical angle. So the light ray is getting internally reflected totally into the denser medium. So if a light ray is incident at an angle of incidence greater than the critical angle, it will get completely reflected back to the denser medium, and this phenomenon is known as total internal reflection. And optical fibers make use of total internal reflection to transmit light through the core. The light ray passing through the inner core is reflected back continuously instead of being refracted out to the rarer cladding. From lower classes we studied about Snell's law. Now applying Snell's law at the critical angle condition, you can write it as sin I by sin r equals sin theta c by sin 90 equals n2 by n1. From that you can arrive at the expression for critical angle as theta c equals sin inverse of n2 by n1. Now based on the number of modes of propagation of light waves in the waveguide, you can classify optical fiber cables into two types: single mode fibers and multi-mode fibers. A mode is nothing but a permitted electromagnetic field pattern in the optical fiber. Now in a single mode, as the name suggests, it is a single strand of a glass fiber that allows only a single beam of light signal to propagate along the core axis. So since it allows only a single beam of light to propagate along the core is supposed to have a very small diameter. But in a multi-mode fiber, it allows multiple beams from the light source to move along different paths inside the core. So since it allows more number of light beams, it should have a greater diameter for the core. So this is a classification based on the number of modes. Now based on the refractive index profile of the core, you can classify optical fiber cables into two types: step index fiber and graded index fiber. Let's see how a step index fiber functions. Now step index fiber is characterized by a core having a nearly constant or a uniform refractive index n1 throughout its bulk area. It is surrounded by a thin layer of cladding having a refractive index lower than the core, n2. The refractive index decreases from n1 to n2 abruptly at the core cladding interface. This can be seen from the cross-sectional index profile of both single mode step index fiber and a multi-mode step index fiber in the right side figure. Here in the figure, in the left side, I have plotted the refractive index along the x-axis and the radial distance from the core along the y-axis. You can see that the refractive index remains a constant throughout the core diameter, and it will abruptly starts to decrease at the core cladding interface, and it will remain a constant throughout the cladding diameter, and then it will again abruptly decreases at the cladding air boundary. So due to this step-like profile, it is called a step index fiber. Now the light entering through one end of the fiber and one face of the fiber undergoes repeated total internal reflections at the core cladding boundary and then proceed forward. Step index single mode fibers are widely used for long distance terrestrial transmission and submarine cable systems, etc. And they also have a very large bandwidth distance product that is greater than 3 GHz kilometer. The bandwidth distance product is the measure of information carrying capacity of the fiber. The greater the value of bandwidth distance product, the greater is the information carrying capacity. But step index multi-mode fiber suffers from intermodal pulse broadening effect. We know in a multi-mode fiber, different modes of light are traveling along the core axis, so that these different modes will have different propagation speeds or group velocities. So at the output receiving end, these different modes will travel at different speeds and will reach at different times. So there will be a broadening of the pulse due to this intermodal dispersion. This is known as pulse broadening effect, and this is not desirable for the proper functioning of an optical fiber cable. A graded index fiber is characterized by a core that is made of very thin layers of transparent material of gradually diminishing or varying refractive indices. So it is surrounded by a cladding that's made of a material having still lower but a constant refractive index. So because of the gradual diminishing of the refractive index, the light incident at one end of the core undergoes a gradual bending towards the axis and finally gets reflected back at the core cladding interface, and light propagates through the fiber core by total internal reflections. Since we know that light travels more slowly in a high refractive index medium, inside the core, the light travels more slowly in the high index region of the fiber core, and this will lead to a significant equalization or readjustment of propagation delays or transit time of different modes of light traveling through the core, so that the pulse broadening effect at the end of the fiber can be minimized, and this will lead to a reduced intermodal dispersion in the graded index multimode fibers. So these kind of fibers, optical fibers, graded index multimode fibers, are the most expensive type of optical fibers, and they are widely used for telephone loop distribution systems. So for the exam, you will be asked to write about the features of step index fibers, or you will be asked to compare step index fibers with graded index fibers. So when you write it, you can mention all the differences or all the comparisons, and also draw the cross-sectional index profile of both the step index as well as the graded index fiber. In the next video, we will discuss about the relation connecting fiber acceptance angle and numerical aperture.